So this session will be about MadeToPrint and how you could take MadeToPrint to the next level. So make use of the whole feature set of MadeToPrint and some nice examples what you can do with MadeToPrint if you use that. So MadeToPrint is offering some of enhanced options which are often not used in customer workflows, but which might help you. So for example, it's preflighting the InDesign document itself, token scripts, parameter overrides, but I will just show every step in that in detail. So often the preflighting in InDesign is just skipped, and the creator of the PDF just moves it on to the PDF side. They have pdfToolbox or whatever. But in InDesign you can find issues that can't be found in the PDF, like if you have overset text, it will just disappear in the PDF and there's no indication that there was overset text. The same as if images are scaled. You don't want that because you know all your images are correct. And you often are not, depending on the output settings, you are not able to find those images in the PDF. So we think it's good to include the InDesign preflight in the MadeToPrint workflow. And I just stole that document from David as it is obvious with penguins. So I go into MadeToPrint. Bitte? Bitte? Es ist unscharf. Bitte? Ich kann das sehen. So I have created multiple jobs, and in that job I just included an InDesign preflight. So who's using InDesign Live preflight in his workflow? So in MadeToPrint you can just add a profile, and it will be executed on each before each output. So you can ensure that the PDFs which came out at the end at least have been checked against the live preflight, so no one is skipping that because of issues. And you can choose to get in to halt the processing and show an error, or in an automated workflow, it just goes to the error folder and gives you whatever message you need. And that is just so if you go to the InDesign preflight, you can just set up whatever you need and include that in MadeToPrint. And here I have the check for the overset text. And if I just add some text, so I do have overset text, but in an automated fashion you wouldn't see that error. And same as for the MadeToPrint job. So we'll just, that would be the error message you will have in the error folder, or wherever you put that in your workflow. So you will, and that won't output then, and you won't have an issue with that in your final PDF. So that's pretty simple, but a lot of jobs we get from customers or from partners don't use InDesign Preflight at all. So I just give that as a message. Use the InDesign Preflight. It's yeah. Check before the PDF gets exported. I ask you to use the token engine for file naming. It's very powerful, and you can do a lot of stuff with that. And so tokens are just like variables in pdfToolbox. They are converted at runtime and just do what you want. And the token engine can even read from files from your hard disk. So I will show an example later on. You can have your settings in some places on your hard disk and just read the file and do whatever you need to do with that. And my example will be with the together with the scripting. So MadeToPrint also have a scripting option, so you can add InDesign scripts to your MadeToPrint workflow, which are executed before or after processing. And you can check, adapt, modify your document before export. You could create a file, which then later on is used for the tokens. So you're pretty free to whatever you need to do. And for the post-processing script, you could also update your workflow. So you can run a shell script which uploads files per PDF or send emails, whatever you need. So in this case, I'm going to MadeToPrint again. I export to PDF, and I do have a token which is just adding a date to the folder name. So it will create the folder structure on the fly, so you don't need to have the folders prepared on your output device, on your output server. It will just create them as you need. And as you might have seen in Olaf's presentation yesterday, there's a long list of tokens you can use, and we are always happy to help if you have specific requirements for your file naming. Just ask us. We're happy to assist with creating tokens. Note, so you can use the page label and add zeros to the page label, so you always have a 3-digit page label for single page output. But the more interesting thing is combining it with an extend script from InDesign. So one of the tokens, it's a lookup token, and that actually reads a text file, which is formatted with, which is tab separated, kind of table file. And in this case, I just use the file name, and next to the document, I'd like to have a page log file, which I generate with a script beforehand. And I just show you that file, how that could look like. So that's a tab-separated file which has a header line where I have the name and I have the page IDs in the first column, and I have the names of the penguins in the second column, which is defined by name. And if I go back to the token, you can see I want to get the name of the line of the page label. So page label in this case would be 1, 2, 3, and 4. And in the page log file, I have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and actually 5. And it would get, for the first page, it would return Spatzel, and for the second, it would return drunk. And I can use that in the file naming. So. And how do I create those, that page log file? I do run a script, which is executed before the actual export. And just I open that script as well, and that's the unfortunately that's the secured script, but it will actually just read the page label info from a text frame which is called page label. So in InDesign you can, I go back to InDesign, I'm sorry. In utilities, you have an option to have a script label, and you can label text frames on the page, and use that page label to, or that the name of the text frame to reference in the script. So what the script actually does is, for each page, it looks for a text frame with the page label, with the script label, page label. Could be any other name, but I use page label. And it uses that, gets the info, and puts that into the page log file. So it just writes a text file next to the document, and as shown before, it will then, the text file will then be used in the token engine to have the proper file naming. So I go back to MadeToPrint. Of course, I want to have a single page output, so each page of the InDesign document should go to a separate PDF file. I have the name, and it also gives me a preview. It's the document name of the InDesign document. It's a 3-digit page number, and then at the end it will use the info from the page log file to output the file name. And if I just delete that file. And so I just click on print once, and it's already done. And if I go to my output result folder, you see it has created the folder structure with the date. And it also has created 4 different PDF files, which do contain the info from the document inside. That's one good option for that would be if you have labels for bottles, and you can just read the barcode from the InDesign document and include the barcode ID into the file name. So it's a good option to just, with one click in MadeToPrint or with one job execution, you just have your jobs done right. Questions so far? The next thing is the parameter overrides option. So in MadeToPrint, we use the InDesign export presets. So if you create a PDF, you can tell MadeToPrint to use an InDesign export preset. But sometimes you just want to change one of the options. So you don't want to, or you want to have like color bars or crop marks, but in the other job you don't want to have that. And you don't need to create multiple InDesign export presets. You can just use one or a low number of export presets and override specific settings of that preset on the fly. And that helps you to keep your workflow or your settings clean. And you don't need to have 20 or 30 options, even if they are combined. So you want to have crop marks and color bars, and you don't want to have, another job needs color bars but no crop marks and so on. It can get you a long list of parameter overrides on PDF export presets you need in your workflow. But with the parameter overrides, if I go to the edit menu, I have for the different output options, and then I can just define what, if I need or if I don't need, for example, the color bars. So I just choose that, and I want to have color bars. Oops. But I can also use, or I can ask the user. So on the output, I will get a message what setting I want to have for the color bars. And in the automated workflow, it of course won't ask the user, but you can set it up. So on my output, I have the color bars, and I do want them. So just export that. And if I go to the to that export, I do have the color bars, even if I use the same same export preset than in the job before, where I do not have color bars. And again, you can override every InDesign export preset or export option, and there are even some which you can't set in the InDesign export dialog. So it's the I have to find it, but you can set the width or length of the crop marks. So if you want to have a specific width of the marks, you can set that up in the parameter overrides. But you can't do that in the export preset, I think. Okay. Yeah, I said that. So the next is a bigger section. So MadeToPrint does not only offer the standard output, so manual output options or hot folder based output, but you can also use job ticket mode. So in that case, MadeToPrint is driven by an XML job ticket, and it can be that job ticket can modify how the MadeToPrint job is executed on the fly. So you can set values for the export preset, you can set the parameter overrides, you can add scripts to the job which not have been in the MadeToPrint setup itself. You can change the output path and just from your workflow system, and you even can provide metadata, which you then can again use in the token engine. So you can have with one MadeToPrint job or with just a few, you can have a variety of output possibilities. So again, if I go to MadeToPrint, I have created the one output job, which is 999 PDF, which just outputs to a specific folder using, again, the batch and script to name the file. It has the color bars on. And for the auto mode, I created a hot folder job, which does not process documents, but it processes the job tickets. And that's simple XML job tickets. And the simplest one, hope you can read that. You just define that it outputs all pages with that MadeToPrint job, and it should output that document. And it's easy like that. So I close that document. And I start the MadeToPrint. Just close the results. I copy that simple document into the hot folder, and MadeToPrint will just pick that up, export the open the document, export it with the specific settings, and it will also give you a result XML which you can pass with your further workflow. And it gives you the status, it was okay. It also gives you all the output files that MadeToPrint created. So in that case, I just created one PDF file in that folder. So you can do whatever you need to do with that document. And it lists you also the input files as well as the original job ticket. So just go to the results. I have the multi-page Penguin PDF. But I can also change, as I said, so I can change the output path. So I want to have it to that output folder. I'm still using the same document. And I can also define if I want the flat output, so if I want the PDF exactly in that folder, or if I want to use the subfolder from the MadeToPrint job. So if I use that job ticket, you will see it will result in another output folder. So just put that into that folder. And again, the same file. I skip the path add. That's, the next job ticket, I use the parameter overrides and dynamically change that in the XML file. So I don't need to set it up in the MadeToPrint job, but I just I want to. So if you see the last results, there's no bleed. So I can just add the bleed within the job ticket. And I also want the crop marks and the color bars. And if I use that in you will see that now we have a bleed, which actually is not in the InDesign document, but you can see it. So the appearance of the output file just changed with the same job, but just having different settings in the Jobticket XML. So you're totally free to modify how the how MadeToPrint will work. And the Jobticket mode is mostly used when using editorial systems like Woodwing or K4, using K4, and yeah, they also drive the MadeToPrint with a Jobticket, and but you can also have your own workflow system, which you already have in your company, and creating those job tickets to drive MadeToPrint and to get your good output PDF. Additionally, in MadeToPrint, we do have the PDF post-process, which is using the callas pdfEngine or callas pdfToolbox integrated in the MadeToPrint. So you can run every pdfToolbox profile or Acrobat Preflight profile, and it's a full PDF engine. So you can check, modify, or even add content with a pdfToolbox profile. So the PDF which just got generated by MadeToPrint can be enhanced, so to speak. And in the newest version, you can also use the pdfToolbox variables, and they can be set dynamically. So you can use Jobticket metadata to modify the PDF export profile, and you can even modify the way the PDF after generation is handled. And I have I have a little example for that, which is pretty nice. I will just show that, and then so I do have that file, which also adds metadata. So that would be the metadata which came out of the Woodwing enterprise system. So you can just add everything you need, like the name of the document, which can be a different name than the actual file name. You can add modifier, a comment.
It's from K4.
That's from K4? Actually, I'm not sure. I think maybe it's a mixed one. And for workflow, you also can add a status, which is in that case ready for print, and the status color. And I use that in a later stage. So just I used in that case a different job, not only PDF, but the 999 PDF. And what that does is it runs a PDF post-process profile. So we deliver some standard ones like convert to grayscale, which is not easy to do in InDesign itself. So you can just create a color PDF and convert that one into a grayscale PDF. So you get a grayscale PDF out of InDesign. Or you can convert or check your document if it fits with the newspaper ads profile. So you can be sure that your PDF, which is created at the end, complies with your newspaper ads profile. Right, but I do include one which is an info bar single stamp, I have called that. I created that in the pdfToolbox, and that make use of the place content of the pdfToolbox. So what I actually do, and I'm using a variable, and I'm using the job ticket metadata, like the modifier and some other metadata, and provide that to the pdfToolbox profile. I just run the job ticket mode right now. And what it will do, it will export the PDF and then add a stamp to the PDF. And if I open that, I do have a stamp on the PDF, which indicates the modifier, the date, and the status, including the color. So if you're doing a preview print or a proof print, you can also, so that's a very easy one, but you can also, like what David showed in his session, you can create a proof PDF on your, within MadeToPrint. And just to show, if I have another document with other metadata, it will just add another stamp. And of course, you can mix up the features. So the job ticket XML can include post-process. It can include the parameter overrides. It can use the file naming. So in here you see it's finished, and you does have another color. And actually, what I did, I just created a pdfToolbox profile. With a custom fix-up. The fix-up is just the info bar, the single stamp. If I edit that, I'm using a variable which is called variables, which I provided in MadeToPrint with the job ticket metadata. Let's see, which one is it? So that's the place content template, which is simple HTML and JavaScript. So I just add a name field, the date field, and the status field. And in the script, I read from the variables and I just modify the text according to the metadata. So it will add status color. The CSS will change, so the background of the stamp becomes the color, and yeah. So it's pretty powerful. So you're not only able to check your PDF, but you can modify the PDF in whatever way you like, in whatever way you need. So that's pretty powerful. And if you combine all those features, you get a very powerful tool, a very flexible tool, and a very, a tool which can just be as you need it. Questions so far? Oh. I think the sessions as well as the sample documents will be shared, so just play around. See whatever you need. Just think about all the features MadeToPrint is giving and which you might not have used until now. Yeah. And as always, we are happy to help and happy to evaluate what you can do to expand MadeToPrint the way you need it. And actually, I think that's it. Yeah. Any questions? Plans? No. No. Yeah. One thing I didn't mention is, because for most of you it might be yeah, the normal thing. I think I have it on the first slide. Using the servers also yeah, a good way to enhance the way MadeToPrint works. So we have different flavors of MadeToPrint, which begin with the standard batch mode. We have a hot folder mode, and we can use it in InDesign server. So you have a real server environment without any user interface, and it will just run when you start up your machine. And you can even have multi-instances running at the same time. So it will. So even with the job ticket mode, you just place a bunch of job tickets in your hot folder, and MadeToPrint will pick it up. And once it picks up one XML, it will log that, and another MadeToPrint instance will just use the next XML. So it will process them at the same time, which will really speed up your work.